We're going to talk about Damian Green and the two coppers who are selling him down
Ask the
river.
question, Kevin. Ask the question.
So my point is, A, these coppers, in my view, have acted disgracefully, and B, Damian Green has broken no laws, and yet we still live in a country that seems to have a Victorian attitude to pornography.
Well, you're on dangerous ground there, aren't we?
I could not give a damn about a grown man looking at legal pornography. I do not understand the scandal.
But the source of that, a source of creating that pornography is doubtful. I mean, it can be highly exploitative. Some of those sites, although, as you say, are legal, you know, I sometimes question
if they're legal, they're legal.
Yeah, but how are they exploiting some of these women and men in terms of that? But hey,
well,
it is
up
legal.
to the law to establish.
Well, it's very
not,
difficult to get at these people,
well,
but I see where you're coming from.
I say legal porn is right, it's acceptable to look at it, there's nothing wrong with it. And it's ludicrous that we live in a country where people go, oh, he was looking at porn.
But I'm
worried. Be sacked. If it was at my office, I'd get fired. Well,
but
it isn't at your office.
But are we expecting more from a politician to be spending his days in Port
like
Kelly's
looking
house?
at the football scores or
something?
Well,
has he got time to look at the football scores during his hard
of
working
course
day?
He has.
Does his constituents want him looking at it?
Nobody goes to their office computer and doesn't do anything personal on it ever, ever, ever. That's a stupid proposition that isn't the case. So I say looking at a bit of legal porn is pretty much the same as checking the football scores.
But that's alleviating his stressful day. Is that what you're suggesting he did?
No, I'm saying it's an okay thing to do. I can't get worked up about it. What those coppers...
We expect more from our politicians, particularly if they're Tory.
What are you, like Victorian or something?
I just think that this is, for me, more interesting.
I don't expect more of our politicians.
I want to know how this...
Vicars?
I expect more of our vicars, come to that, actually.
Yeah,
I certainly expect my vicar to be looking at porn.
Well,
so what's the difference? Anyway, but...
You're in for a big disappointment there.
What does it say about how the story came into the public domain? That's fascinating to me as well. That, if we talk about who leaked it and why, and if we talk about the soap opera that survives to this day amongst the sort of chattering groups that exist within Parliament. Were the police? Were these investigating officers? Were these have a score to settle with this guy?
Well, they did. We know that.
Yeah.
Actually,
should we be more critical of the power of the police?
First of all, of course. First of all, we have to stress that Damian Green says that he didn't download these images and he didn't look at them. So he denies it for a start. These two coppers who've got an axe to grind, they've had a long-running feud with Damian Green since they invaded his office in 2008, illegally it turned out, have been out, Damian Green says they've been out to get him ever since. Now suddenly, out of nowhere, they announce, when Damian Green is in trouble for allegedly inappropriate behaviour towards a young lady, they announced that when they raided his office in 2008, they found all these pornographic images, which they stressed were legal. So what we've got here is two serving officers, they're now ex-officers, saying that in the course of our inquiries into Damian Green, we found that he was looking at perfectly legal porn. So if we're going to have coppers making announcements from confidential investigations about innocent men or innocent people, then we're in trouble. That's why I think Cressida Dick at Scotland Yard will try and get those two guys into court, because they have broken a contract with the public. And right now, the way things stand, if the coppers knock on your door and say, could you cooperate with us with this investigation, my advice to all the public is to say absolutely not, because in 10 years' time, you might go to the Sunday Times and tell them all about what you found on my computer. So they've got to put the cork back in that bottle.
But you know, police have always exercised a certain amount of power.
I don't remember them ever doing anything like this before. This is a breach of the sacred bond between the public and the police. If they find you not guilty, if you are innocent of the crime they're investigating, they have no right whatsoever to make public the details of their investigation or extraneous stuff that are nothing to do with. They don't, Mark.
But I
It's a
agree. I'm
scandal.
not disagreeing with you on this.
Massive
I think
scandal.
it's a scandal, but I'm also uncomfortable about the way the police use influence in other ways to perhaps...
This is political, isn't it?
Well,
They're trying to bring about the downfall of the Deputy Prime Minister. It is not the job of current police officers or ex-police officers to do that. And also, I think they're acting extremely dodgily towards him by revealing extraneous information that had nothing to do with their investigation. And by the way, their investigation came to nothing anyway. He is an innocent man legally, and he doesn't deserve, none of us deserve, to have ex-coppers going public with stuff they found out in the course of their inquiry.
But this is true, but also we're dealing now with more process-driven investigations. And if you take a look at the way that Cliff Richard was exposed in such a way by the police giving a tip-off to the BBC.
Yeah, you mean the arrest first and investigate
we're in the
later
age now of everybody is guilty. Yeah. You have to spend large amounts of money and time to prove your innocence.
I think the police have caught too many colds on that.
Well, I think
none of these cases ever. Very few of those historic celebrities.
But we've got to expect the great. We've got to get to the point where we are talking about this openly to actually get higher standards and take away some of the power that is being abused. And the idea that you can actually expose an investigation again into an innocent person in some attempt to bring people out of the woodwork. Yeah. Because of the publicity. I mean, it's shocking.
It's the human flypaper. Plus, those raids on Cliff's house, Jim Davidson's house, all these innocent people, where they come out with,
Gambacini.
Where they come out with 46 boxes of alleged evidence.
This how hard we're going to work.
When they raided Jim Davidson's house, and it was all lovingly filmed because the press were tipped off, they came out with about 46 boxes of evidence relating to a case that was alleged to have happened about 20 years ago, and Jim Davidson had moved house 16 times since then. It's to give the illusion of guilt, and it's also, as you say, it's to provide this human flypaper technique. Right, we've arrested them. Have you got anything to say about them? Now, I think that technique, or that outrageous technique of investigation, has already died a death. I think Cressida Dick, the new Scotland Yard chief, shows encouraging signs of realising that she's got to clean this sort of stuff up, and she's already said that she's looking into ways of finding whether these two ex-coppers in the Damian Green affair have broken the law. I think she wants to get them in the dock in order to re-establish the bond of trust between the police and the public, and if she doesn't, no one will ever cooperate with the cops again, nor should they.
Well, I wonder whether or not there is the same level of cooperation with the police in this day and age, and I can imagine walking along this road.
The more they do this stuff with Damian Green, the less cooperation there will be. It's a bad thing for a serving officer or an ex-officer to do that. And I'm not coming to the defence of Damian Green for any political.
You sure?
Well, I don't. No. Well, I am. He's innocent. I don't have any axe to grind with Damian Green. I just think he's been treated appallingly. The results of the inquiries into his behaviour.
Well, it's going to be a very interesting couple of weeks, and I'm sure someone somewhere will use it to bury bad news.
And of course, don't forget that it's got that magic ingredient for the papers. It's pornography. Ooh, porny. Let's put it on the front page.
Old men looking at porn.
Old men? It's the whole nation.
Yeah, but I'm saying the image of old men looking at porn.
But he denies it. And he denies it, and it's very possible that his denials are true.